The painting you're looking at shows a man being eaten alive by his own horses. Look closely. You can see the flesh being torn from his body, blood pooling beneath him, his face frozen in agony. These aren't wild beasts attacking a stranger. These are his horses, the animals he trained, the creatures he fed human flesh to satisfy his own cruelty. This is Diomedes, king of Thrace, and this is the moment his victims take their revenge. Gustav Moreau painted this nightmare in 1865, and for over a century, it remained virtually unknown, hidden away in a private collection. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. This isn't just a painting about Greek mythology. It's about the moment when the civilized world collapses, when vengeance becomes divine justice, and when beauty and horror become impossible to separate. This painting is called Diomedes Devoured by His Horses, and it depicts one of the most brutal episodes from the 12 Labors of Hercules. Diomedes was a king who kept 4 man-eating mares. He fed them a diet of human flesh, strangers who wandered into his kingdom, guests who trusted his hospitality. Hercules was sent to capture these horses as his 8th labor. But instead of simply stealing them, Hercules decided on a different approach. He fed Diomedes to his own horses. Moreau chose to paint the exact moment of consumption, not before, not after, the moment. The king's body lies sprawled across marble steps, his arms thrown back in helpless surrender. Blood streams down the white stone like a crimson river. The horses, magnificent, wild-eyed, unstoppable, tear into him with savage precision. One bites into his torso, another rips at his leg. Their eyes are wide, their mouths open, their fury absolute. But here's what makes this painting extraordinary. It's not just violent, it's beautiful. The architecture behind them is classical perfection. Columns, arches, distant temples bathed in golden light. The sky is serene. The composition is balanced. Moreau painted carnage with the same refined technique he used for angels and saints. Gustav Moreau was obsessed with death, women, and myth. Born in Paris in 1826, he became one of the leading figures of the Symbolist movement, a group of artists who rejected the realism of their time in favor of dreams, symbols, and psychological depth. While his contemporaries like Manet and Monet were painting modern life cafes, boulevards, water lilies, Moreau was painting decapitated heads, femme fatales, and ancient gods destroying mortals. He never married. He lived with his mother until her death, and when she died, he was devastated. Some biographers suggest he channeled his complex feelings about women, idealization, fear, desire into his art. His paintings are filled with dangerous women. Salome holding John the Baptist's head, Delilah seducing Samson, sirens luring sailors to their deaths. But Diomedes Devoured by His Horses is different. Here, the threat isn't feminine, it's bestial, primal. The terror comes not from seduction, but from nature itself turning against man. Moreau painted this work in 1865, early in his career when he was still establishing his reputation. It was commissioned by a private collector and remained largely unseen by the public for decades. While his later works, his Salomes, his Jupiters, his mythological spectacles became famous, this painting stayed hidden. Why? Perhaps because it was too violent, too raw, too disturbing for the tastes of the time. The painting is oil on canvas, measuring 138.5 centimeters by 84.5 centimeters. It now resides in the Musée National Gustav Moreau in Paris, the artist's former home and studio, which he converted into a museum before his death. Let's examine what makes this composition so deeply unsettling. First, the color. Moreau uses a palette of gold, crimson, and marble white. The blood isn't brown or rust-colored like dried blood. It's bright red, almost luminous, as if it's still flowing, still fresh. This is important. Moreau wants us to feel the immediacy of the violence. We're not looking at an aftermath, we're witnessing murder. The architecture is deliberately classical Greco-Roman columns, perfect proportions, pristine surfaces. This isn't a wilderness. This isn't a dark forest or a savage wasteland. This is civilization, a palace, a place of order and refinement. And yet here in the heart of civilization, we find the most primitive brutality. This contrast is everything. Moreau is saying civilization is a thin veneer. Beneath it, chaos waits. Now look at Diomedes himself. His body is muscular, idealized, almost heroic. Even in death, he's rendered with the beauty of a classical sculpture. But his face is pure terror. Eyes wide, mouth open. This isn't a noble death. This isn't a warrior falling into battle. This is a man being devoured, and he knows it. The horses are equally magnificent. Their coats gleam, their muscles ripple. They're not monsters. They're horses, beautiful, powerful animals doing what they were trained to do. Diomedes fed them human flesh. Now they're feeding on him. The horror isn't that they've become monsters. The horror is that they're doing exactly what he taught them to do. In the background, almost unnoticed, there are distant figures, tiny silhouettes near the temple. Are they watching? Fleeing? Indifferent? We don't know. But their smallness emphasizes the isolation of Diomedes. No one is coming to save him. No one can stop this. And then there's the light. Golden, warm, almost divine. It bathes the scene in an otherworldly glow, as if the gods themselves are illuminating this moment of justice. Moreau doesn't want us to look away. He wants us to see every detail in perfect clarity. This painting is about more than Greek mythology. It's about karma, about the moment when the oppressor becomes the victim, when the weapon you created turns against you. Diomedes thought he was powerful because he controlled these horses. He thought feeding them human flesh made him untouchable, feared. But in the end, his power became his doom. The very thing he used to terrorize others consumed him. Moreau was painting during a time of enormous anxiety in France. The Second Empire was collapsing. Napoleon III's regime was brutal, corrupt, and increasingly unstable. Revolution was in the air. The old order was dying, and no one knew what would replace it. In this context, a painting of a tyrant being devoured by his own instruments of terror takes on new meaning. It becomes a warning, a prophecy, a vision of what happens when power is built on cruelty. But there's something else here too. Something about masculinity, about the male body as both beautiful and vulnerable. Moreau paints Diomedes with the idealized proportions of a Greek hero, but he strips away all his dignity, all control. This is masculinity undone, destroyed not by a stronger man, not by a warrior, but by animals, by nature itself. For an artist who spent his career painting dangerous women, Salome, Delilah, Helen of Troy, this painting stands out. Here, the danger doesn't come from female seduction. It comes from male hubris, from the belief that you can control nature, bend it to your will, make it serve your cruelty. The horses don't seduce Diomedes. They simply take back what's theirs. Diomedes devoured by his horses remained largely unknown for over a century, overshadowed by Moreau's more famous works. But in recent decades, as interest in symbolism has grown, this painting has been rediscovered. And what viewers find in it is both timeless and eerily modern. We live in an age where we're constantly confronting the consequences of our actions, where the systems we create, technological, political, environmental, threaten to consume us. Moreau painted that fear in 1865. He showed us what happens when our creations turn against us. This piece stands out amongst all his others. It's the one where beauty and horror are inseparable, where justice looks like vengeance, where the civilized world reveals its savage heart. What do you think? Is this divine justice or simply cruelty meeting cruelty?